time ago there lived a king who was famous throughout the entire country for his wisdom. Nothing remained hidden from him, and it seemed as if he could obtain news for the most secret things through the air. However, he had one strange custom. Every day at noon, after the table was cleared of food and no one else was present, a trusted servant had to bring him one more dish. The dish was always covered, so the servant himself did not know what was in it, nor did anyone else, for the king did not take cover from that dish and eat it until he was all alone. The king continued this custom for quite some time, until one day the servant, while removing the dish, was overcome by curiosity. He went into his room after he had carefully locked the door. He lifted the cover and found a white snake lying inside. Once he had laid eyes on it, though, he had an irresistible desire to taste it. So he cut off a little piece and put it in his mouth. No sooner did his tongue touch it than he heard strange whispering of exquisite voices outside his window. He went over to listen to it and noticed some sparrows talking to one another, telling what the other had seen in the fields and the forest.
Oh, girl, did you see her shoes? They were hideous.
Oh, I know.
Tasting the snake had given him the power to understand the language of animals. Now it so happened that on this very day the queen lost a most beautiful ring, and the trusted servant was suspected of committing the theft because he had access to everything. The king was summoned by the servant with harsh words and threatened him, saying that if he was not able to name the guilty person by morning, he himself would be considered the thief and would be executed. It was to no avail that the servant protested his innocence, for he was given a curt dismissal. Distressed and afraid, he went down into the courtyard and tried to think of a way out of his predicament. Some ducks were peacefully sitting and resting by a running brook, preening themselves and chatting in a confidential tone. The servant stopped and listened to them as they told each other where they had been waddling around all morning and what good pickings they had found. But one of the ducks was irritable and said that
there's something heavy in my stomach. I was eating too fast and swallowed a ring that was lying under the king's window.
Right away, the servant grabbed the duck by the neck, carried it into the kitchen, and said to the cook, "This one is well fed, and it's time you killed it."
This one is well fed. It's time you killed it.
So he cut off the duck's neck, and when it was being cleaned, the queen's round ring was found in his stomach. Now the servant could easily prove his innocence, and since the king wanted to make amends for having wronged his servant, he granted him a favor and promised him whatever royal post of honor he desired. The servant declined all of this. His only request was for a horse, some travel money, for he had desired to travel about for a while and see the world. When his wish had been granted, he set out on his way, and one day he was passing a pond. He noticed 3 fish trapped in the reeds, and though it is said that the fish cannot talk, he heard them crying in distress and wailing that they had to die so miserably.
Why do I have to die so miserably?
He felt sorry for them. He got down off his horse and put the 3 trapped fish back into the water. They wrinkled for joy and stuck their heads out of the water and cried out to him, "We'll remember you for saving our lives, and one day we'll repay." He rode on, and while later it seemed to him that he had heard a voice in the sand at his feet, he listened and heard the ant king complaining.
If only people with their clumsy beasts would keep away from us. That stupid horse is mercilessly trampling my people to death with his heavy hooves.
The servant turned to his horse onto the side of the path, and the ant king cried out to him,
Where is it? We'll remember this, and one day we'll repay you.